Community Affairs Program.
You know, we've got to have A.L. Brown on the show more often. Out in the lobby, Brother Man and I were talking about everything from politics to education. He really has his finger on the pulse of what's going on and what people are talking about, not just in the Twin Cities, but all across the country. A.L., thank you for being here with us this morning on Crossroads.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, you're a radio personality. You're on AM 1500. Tell the folks, I don't know how they would know about you, but tell the folks who don't know about you who you are.
Well, every Sunday I'm on AM 1500 from 2 to 5, except for when the Twins are on, when the baseball games are playing. But we cover all the current events, news, politics, national news, local news. We even get into some of the social issues. We don't leave any stone unturned.
Now, how did you get into radio?
You wouldn't believe it. It's almost like an American Idol of radio. KSTP decided to have a show called The Next Big Thing almost 3 years ago. And I came on and auditioned. Ron Rosenbaum and Mark O'Connell, who has since passed on, were big influences in me getting into radio when I first moved here to the Twin Cities. And I tried out for the program, and I got the job.
Wow.
I interviewed.
Wow.
About that. Yeah.
Out of here. And, you know, Mark was a great friend of mine.
Yeah.
His daughter Liz works in the newsroom, and his wife Gloria is a treasure to be around. What impact did he have on your life?
Well, the two of them together were great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the idea that you didn't have to toe an extremely conservative line in talk radio. And that's the last thing I am, is extremely conservative. And it's somewhat fun because you get on the radio every week and you have people tell you why you're wrong. And you get a chance to push back and challenge and say, well, you tell me why I'm wrong. You know, I try to do a completely different radio show. Instead of, as I say, some radio is the self-affirmation hour. People call in and the radio host tells them why they're right and why they're smart. I tell them why they're wrong and how to get right. And I try to do it within 2 minutes of a call. But those two together were very good at challenging, but doing it with humor and doing it so that the caller didn't necessarily feel offended. As I always say, I'm not trying to offend you, but I don't care if I do. I'm shooting for the truth, and I want to push you to think about what you're saying. Don't give me bumper sticker politics. Don't give me mud flap politics. Give me something you thought about.
Now, what are people talking about right now? What's the phone blowing up about?
Yeah. There's a lot going on. I mean, you can't ignore the presidential elections that are going on. We have, for the first time in the history of our country, a black man who's got a shot at the presidency. I mean, we've had Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton run before, but they didn't really have a shot at the presidency. And we've got a woman running for the presidency for the first time who actually has a shot. We've had women run before, Shirley Chisholm and others, but it just never before having the weight and the chance that both Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama have. That's pretty significant. And people in America's adjusting to it. They're adjusting to what it means and how you talk about race and how you talk about gender. There's this undercurrent of which one is worse. Which is it worse to be black, or is it worse to be a woman? And if you're a black woman,
I'm down to be the local.
You don't really get to live your life in serial. You don't get to be black in this moment and a woman in another. So you've probably got the experience of both. But that's the discussion that the country's starting to have, and it's well overdue.
Now, what are you hearing? What are people saying? Are they saying that, America's ready for a black president?
They are.
Really?
You know what's funny about Barack Obama is he started off with, frankly, black folks wondering if he was black enough.
Right, exactly.
And then white folks later on wondering if he could only win black votes. And now he's back to the question of whether or not he's too black with his association with Reverend Jeremiah Wright. This growing unfolding of our understanding of Barack Obama. But I think he has a legitimate shot at becoming the president of the United States. That's really exciting. That's really exciting for kids all over take North Minneapolis, who wake up every day and all they see sometimes. Everybody who lives in North Minneapolis isn't having a bad experience. But a lot of folks who they constantly see violence, and they see the degradation of women, they see drug sales, they see poor schools. They can look up and see the president of the United States, someone who looks something like them. That's pretty big. That's a pretty big deal. And I think it's and the same for a young woman who has been told that the glass ceiling will never be broken. She can look up and see Hillary Clinton as the first president. But the country has to adjust on the discussion about how do we approach these issues, how do we talk about them. Is Hillary too much of a man, or is she too much of a woman? If she cries, is she being too feminine? If she's yelling, if she's being too much like your mom, or who's nagging you about something, or we've got to figure out a way to start respecting people without regard for their gender and their race, and we get a chance to talk about it at the same time.
Wow, and people are really opening up and telling you exactly what they think.
Some folks are. Some folks can't wait to I've had women tell me they don't think a woman should be president.
Wow.
And I've had men and black folks say, I don't want Barack Obama to become president because I don't want them to shoot and kill him.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, that to me is foolishness. That's like saying I don't want my kid to go to college because he might graduate. And it doesn't make any sense, right? You have to give the opportunity for those people to get to the top because they're carrying very long coattails. A lot of folks are looking at it and hanging on to them.
Yeah. What about the Senate race we've got coming up?
Well, Mike Cerisi dropped out of the Senate race just very recently, and Al Franken looks like he's going to be the nominee. He's got Jack Nelson Pallmeyer, who's running against Norm Coleman. I think Norm Coleman's a vulnerable, and I think everyone would agree he's a relatively vulnerable candidate, but he's a strong candidate. There's no guarantee he's going to win his seat. He's got to do some work to distance himself from a horrible 8 years of a Bush administration, and I want to see him backpedal. This is going to be fun, and I think Al Franken has got a unique ability to make humor, and something you know very much about.
Right.
Use humor to show why the other person is wrong. I mean, we've had tons of politics where the people yell and scream and you're a racist, no, you're a feminist, no, you're a sexist, no, you're a Nazi, no, we've had that. But I think it'll be interesting if Al Franken is the nominee, how he uses humor. It's both it's a two-edged sword for him because you can guarantee you'll see those Saturday night skits where people don't want to take him seriously should he get the nomination. But I think he knows how to use that.
Now, what about the economy? Gas prices are through the roof.
If you don't know,
brown and black folks are doing bad, and they keep saying we're not in a recession. We're not in a recession. My account is receding. I'm going down. I'm in the red.
As my brother said to me just this weekend, when the majority population gets a cold, communities of color get pneumonia, and there's no question that we are suffering serious problems in the economy. I mean, I just drive down my neighborhood and you see more for sales, and I think to myself, what are these folks thinking? I mean, they must be selling out of a sense of desperation. If you put your house on the market at this point, it must be because you're without a choice. Because there's, it's a buyer's market and a seller's nightmare. And I think that's, the $600 check that some folks are going to get in the mail is not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough to cover the mortgage or reestablish your family after you lose a house. We're in a mess.
So, I mean, I don't even understand why give us the $600 because ours is already gone. So it hadn't made it to the house.
That's right.
We have already spent it,
exactly
and $600 is really not going to do much for us.
It makes the president feel better. And it's like when you're watching a big barn on fire and people start throwing 12-ounce cups of water on the barn. They feel like they're doing something. But at the end of the day, what needs to happen, in my judgment, is we need to let the economy go ahead and crash. And it's going to be unfortunate, particularly for communities of color, because they're going to suffer more because they were already
living paycheck to paycheck.
Unbelievable. Well, paycheck and then borrowing in between paychecks.
Right.
Paycheck to loan to paycheck.
Right.
But I think the economy just has to crash. We have to let the housing market. A lot of what the president is doing has nothing to do with the individuals. I mean, it's big bailouts for banks. The mortgage industry and for speculators who bought these properties, a lot of them, without ever living a day in them. This is who this is going to help. So, for him to continually say we're not in a recession, he didn't know that gas had gone up to $4, and I guess that's the problem with having a motorcade.
Right, you don't have to
you don't have to think about it. But gas, when he started his presidency, gas was at about $1.49, if you can believe that. It's unbelievable.
I don't even remember that long.
You don't even.
I don't remember.
Seems like the days when gas was 19 cents.
Right, exactly.
That's long gone. Gas is about $3.10 today.
Wow.
And that's a deal.
You got your finger on the pulse. We will listen to you AM 1500. And thank you so much for being out there and being a voice for us.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks
We're
for having me.
very proud of you.
Thank
you for being here. And you guys stick around. We still have more to come. Talk about a new U of M mentoring program. I'm so excited about it. I'm going to see if I can join up. Stick around. What Crossroads is next.